both sides of this equation are unfathomable to the mind. You see, the manifest side is crazy. Everywhere you look, it's crazy. Anything you look at, it's crazy. You look at a light, it's crazy. What is it? Look at the sun, it's crazy. Clouds, the rain, the Bangalore flooding, everything is crazy. And crazy in the sense of that you can't make sense of it. And when we talk about the unmanifest, before you can even admit that it's full on crazy, the mind will be in full denial of it first. There is no such thing, or it will make it like a compartmentalized idea in your head. But you have no idea what awareness is, and you can't have. And that's what's so great about it. Because you can only fathom that which is measurable. To fathom is to measure it. Have a measure of. To fathom is to have a measure of. So if you found a measure of yourself, if you got a measure of yourself, it would be limited. So you try to do everything to get a measure of yourself through perception, through ideas, but you can't do it. And you say, okay, let me at least try and get a measure of my life, my human existence. You can't do it. They've been trying to sort life, resolve life for thousands of years. There is no life's little instruction booklet, although some have tried to publish. No, there is no real book. So if the mind was the only instrument you had, if the only instrument of knowledge was the head, then forget about it. There's no chance. You want to know life, you want to know any aspect of life, you want to know relationships, you want to know how to make money, you want to know how to lead a healthy life, no way, forget about it. Nobody's been able to do it. And then we make up some childish stuff like what would we want on our deathbed and all that. No, that's also not a test of truth, because that's what you want on the deathbed. Doesn't mean that you're going to live like that. You see, that's why this also doesn't work. I'm going to live as if it's my last day. How many of our friends have done it, and how long is that lasted? That last day doesn't last. So you cannot have a strategy or a set of tactics to fix your life. Now you don't have to understand why that situation is like that. You see? Except that you can see that what you're measuring with is too limited, you see, for what you're trying to measure. So in school we used to have these small, in the geometry box we used to have these small scales, ruler scale, whatever we call it. You see? And then if I say to you, okay, how long are you going to take? Just measure the earth with this and come. See you in the 100th life after this. Not going to work. So, can we at least at this point in Satsang admit to ourselves that it's just not possible to get a measure of reality, you see, even a measure of the manifest, through the instrument of the head. Because without that we're just barking up the wrong tree. And you're saying stuff, you're just hearing it, you're understanding it conceptually. You see? But you're not learning to live headlessly. If you're not following this main path, Because this is where the change can happen, where everything that I say after this can then you can say yes, yes, I understand, yes, 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 I got it, but why do I keep forgetting? See? So if it's a game of remembering and forgetting, if it's a game of opposites, if it's a game of conviction, if it's any of those games, then that is not the game we are playing. And don't try to play football on a cricket ground. You see? It's not going to be fun. For a while it may seem like you're succeeding, but it's not going to work out. You see? So if you feel like I have to keep remembering, that I'm not convinced yet, or I'm using it and it is helping me. None of these tactics, as humble and as pristine and useful as they may seem, is what any of this is about. And I'm not saying any of those things are wrong. Maybe they have their own place in the world. And there are many authors and teachers who can teach you so-called self-help and all of those things. But here we are not talking about that. Here we are exploring whether there is something beyond the usual traditional knowledge. And we're not exploring it. We may have come in initially exploring it. It's the idea that I want to so that it does this or it helps me in this way or something like this. But that's no longer it. Because in the exploration of that which is beyond conceptual knowledge, show me who you are in the first place, what you are in the first place. So if you're going to play whack-a-mole with me and say, yes, there is no me, but understanding that really helps me because then I can blah blah blah. That's not what we are talking about. So just contemplate for yourself, what is this really about? What do we want at the core of it, and how do we really know that? How do we really know that? Is our spirituality a convenient, phenomenal materialism, which is a chase for good feelings or a good state of existence, which you try to do with relationships and money and cars and whatever else, but now you feel like, oh, that stuff doesn't work, this will help me feel good. And if it is that, it is that. I'm not judging it. But I may be saying that that is not what is on offer here. It may be a byproduct of your discovery, but it's not really anything that I'm concerned with so much. So you may contemplate and you may say, I don't know then, man. I just don't know. And that is openness, and I'm willing to live with that. I don't know why I'm here. I don't even know what a why is. I don't know what to know is. So these are the building blocks on top of which Satsang is shared. What does it mean to know? What is the meaning of meaning? And if we gloss over these steps and go ahead, then it's just going to end up becoming spiritual knowledge in your head, which is not going to help you. Actually, it may seem like for a few days or weeks. There are some things which you hear often in Satsang. Like the new thing you've been hearing often in Satsang is, how do you know? I feel like it's a good tool, it's a potent instrument. And look at it in this way, you see, that if ignorance is clouding your vision, that the speck of dust which prevents you from seeing the moon, all of that, all of those metaphors which all of us have heard many times, if only ignorance blocks it, does anything else block it? Confirm this to yourself. I don't want the right answer. Does anything but ignorance block your vision of the truth? So you will find that the truth is super apparent. Unless I take myself to be what the thoughts are proposing that I am. So what blocks you from being fully free is only ignorance. Is nothing else ever. Can we see this? If this is trouble, we'll spend like a year on it, I don't mind. But this is the basic building block. No? I don't want to gloss over it and then presume that, hey, everyone has got this.
So you mean it in this sense that I don't have to seek it anywhere, like that?
No, I just mean it very literally. Like ignorance means
that I have a wrong idea.
Exactly. So now, without the wrong idea, what knowledge is missing?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, nothing is missing. So, with the wrong idea, what happens?
With the wrong idea, then all kinds of foolish more ideas come. With the first wrong
ideas come, and you take yourself to be the limited one, and the world seems to be separate. It's me and the world, me and the other. All duality, desire, doership that I've spoken about for 10 years. All of that is a product of this ignorance. Yes?
Yeah, and that ignorance is also the idea that I have to find something else.
Yeah, so all desires, all doership, all duality.
Even this knowledge, I have to find it elsewhere.
That's desire.
That's
That's a desire. That's what I'm saying. That desire, doership, duality, all of it comes as a product of this ignorance, and that could be the highest notion we take. Because unless we identify, like we are in, like suppose we are with a doctor, and it's all just confused about what disease we are talking about. Is it cardiac? Is it diabetes? Is it kidney? So here first let's identify what is it that we are here to rehabilitate ourselves from. When Guruji said Satsang is rehab, what is it to rehab from? And Bhagwan has made it very clear, all the masters have made it very clear that only ignorance gets in the way. The self is not a new attainment, it's already yours. Only ignorance gets in the way. So, if you feel like you have a choice, then make the choice not to go with the stream of thought. He has said that very clearly. So, and ultimately you will see that even that was grace. So, what is this about? It's about two different things. One is a view, a perspective, see, One is a view, it is a perspective, and the other is beyond all views and perspectives. Like it is unfathomable, unlimited. So what is the way in which we can have a perspective or a view? Are we clear about this? Maybe I should go really slow. Because it is not a satsang perspective that we are bringing to life now. You see? That may be like most of spirituality may be shared that way. But here we are not giving anybody a spiritual perspective, now live spiritually. You see? Chant this mala, sing this bhajan, be devoted to the Lord. None of those. I mean, those can happen. Those, maybe whatever they are, but you see, those can happen. But it is not about any of that. So it is not about creating a fresh perspective about life. It's not creating a new framework, saying, okay, you had a very personal framework, let me give you God's framework. Is this clear or not? So whatever you think you can smuggle into your head about this is not what we are speaking about. It is not that. Now, as part of that perspective, you may have a belief that without this, I am lost. I'm fully lost. But the truth is just the opposite of that. The truth is the opposite of that. This you have to verify for yourself. And this is the only gift I have for you. You may not appreciate it right now, but my hope is one day you will. And this has nothing to do with how your life must move on. Where do you place the boundary about your life anyway? You wake up, a universe takes birth within you. So when you say my life, which one are you talking about? The life of the universe? Or the life of one character in the dream? And you say that one. And I'm not saying conclude either way, but first admit that in your head you don't know. That you cannot know. Some of these questions you may strive for thousands of lifetimes, but you can never find the answer conceptually. And that is why most philosophy has been refuted, but not 100% refuted. Are you just a brain in a vat? It's been refuted, but not refuted enough. Like you can't conclusively say. Even Descartes' meditations, what is undoubtable? Is am I under the spell of the devil? It's not been refuted. You can't say. Is this just a dream? Can't say. So you have to decide which game you want to play. Do you want to play the game of thousands and millions before us who have gone, try to use this conceptual understanding and feel like, no, I will be the one to do it? Where the greatest so-called thinkers and philosophers of our time have not succeeded. That I will find the ultimate meaning of this reality, what is reality, I will discover in my hands. Or will you take the quantum leap and follow these ones on the walls and be done with this charade? And I don't want to give you a carrot saying that there you will find ultimate peace, there you will be really happy, there this will happen and that will happen. No marketing, because lies are worthy enough to be let go of because they are lies. So truth for truth's sake, even if it did not bring you any benefit. So is there all of this that we speak about? All of this that we speak about. Maybe there's some confusion about what to take metaphorically and what to take literally. And what literally would mean in this case. There is a live in your heart. What would literally mean in that way? Is there a you left to do it? Or is this before the birth of you? So many tips you have. The Masters told us, Papaji said, you cannot suffer. To suffer, you need at least one thing. What is that? Need at least one thing, one piece of knowledge, one thought, one notion, one construct. What are you without that? Open and empty. Fundamentally, all of this is about one main misunderstanding. Yeah? That is the main root of all ignorance. Fundamentally, all of this is about that one main misunderstanding, which is the root of all ignorance, and that is just the misidentification or the I thought. And I've demystified all of this for you. There's like so many people search for years. I've been looking, I can't find the I thought, when will I be free from it? All this we've cleaned up. No? So any reference you make to I is the I thought. So would I propose being open and empty if I felt like it is not possible? Open and empty from the I thought. No? When you're open and empty, you cannot make a reference to yourself. And I may be like super dumb, but I'm not that dumb that I would spend 11 years of my life proposing something which is just not possible. It is like consciousness speaks with consciousness, and consciousness says, no way, Jose, I can't just right. Open. Nice. So, not only is it completely possible, it is very simple. It is very simple. Only the mind is complicated. Only pick up the conclusion that you can pick up from now till now. Only pick up that conclusion that you can pick up from now till now. Not even time to conclude nothing, because nothing is a nonsense conclusion. It's useful only in its power to negate and not to propose anything. And whatever you may say after but now is just basically, I used to say this often, but me. No such me has ever been born. So no thinking about am I getting it, have I got it. No thinking, there is no enlightenment, there is no freedom, nothing. Forget it. Just forget about it. It's all spiritual marketing. I know, like, he's saying it because then only then will we really be enlightened if we forget about enlightenment. Just nothing. Because all these words are hopeless unless you live in the unborn. All of these words are just sproutings from the unborn, and they attempt to point, but if you're just using them as seeds in your garden of the mind. Can you see the hypnosis of the mind? That in which God takes birth, that in which God takes birth, takes itself to be something so tiny and limited. So you come to Satsang because you have this video game addiction. Because you take yourself too much to be that character in Fortnite or whatever. Will this help me shoot better? What are you talking about? Wake up. If I wake up, then I will have God mode in the game. No, wake up. Who are you? Does that one have a name in Fortnite, the main character? Is Mr. X or Miss X? You're not the main character in this story. You're not a character in this story at all. Where you just keep going on these missions like James Bond or Jack Reacher or something, just like, I have to do this, I have to become free, I have to make money, I have to get relationship, I have to. And who is that offering the mission? The world may offer, but without the mind's push, there's no value, right? Even in the movies they say, your mission if you choose to accept it. Isn't it? So it is not organic in the world that you're hypnotized. But in the spell of a thought, you are. You can say, no, I'm like little bit only going to be in the spell of that thought, and the rest can't do it. I will take myself little bit because of practical life, because of my work. I can't send, like God can't send email. For that He gave birth to a person. Because if God could send email Himself, then why would He give birth to a person? Like that, all these nonsensical ideas. The one that is doing these trillions of things apparently doing, that one can't run our life. The minute you say, no, but this, for this I have to, that is your trick. That is your trick, that is your attachment. If you say that for this I have to take myself to be a person, I can't help it. So you're basically then just giving up in front of the ego, saying, this is where I'm stuck, and it's alright. If you can at least identify and then be honest about that, that's fine. You may say that when it comes to my family, I'm like, can't help. And I've said that over the years a few times. But then don't see it as a gravitation, see it as a attraction, see it as a pull, but don't make justifications for it. Don't try to squeeze it into the truth. Squeeze it into the truth. Say that design of the mind is to try and propose compelling things to you. So the mind will try to retain the throne. You try to retain the throne by saying, yeah, I got this. I can help you with this. God, yeah, this. So it tries to retain Godhood through this, in this way. That's why the Sadhguru says surrender is the easiest and it's the most difficult. And you can fight with the sages about that. That's why I said the sages. When you surrender, how much do you know? You cannot know in your head, and yet you know everything. It is possible for one to come to satsang, or even without coming to satsang, to just surrender. And they could surrender to a rock, okay? It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a guru or something like that. Could surrender to a rock, which means let go of their ego and hand over their existence to existence. And all the greatest knowledge they could be spouting next instant. You see? How does that happen? Because the only thing getting in your way is egotism, is ignorance, is false knowledge. See, vasana, whatever conditioning, whatever word you want to call it. That is the only thing ever. So if you're empty, in that moment you surrendered. This rock is there. It came from Arunachala or whatever mythology you want to build behind that. You see? You say, yes. Who are you? I can't find myself. I thought is gone. What witnesses all of this? I do, but that I cannot itself be perceived. All that which can sound so scriptural, you will see it as a matter of fact. On the other hand, if you try to squeeze this into some notion you have about yourself, forget about it. How many satsangs can make the non-existent cat free? The cat will have a report card also. 90% done, this much left. What are the qualifications that the cat has to have to become free? So at best we can use tools like openness and say, okay, now is consciousness playing in that expression as if it is obsessed with the notion that must be a cat only and there's no scope at all. So, like that child who once told me that all of this is fine, Father, but ultimately we are human. These are also like aha moments for me. Like you may have some aha moments in satsang. It's just like the ability of the mind and egotism to make everything back to its own reference point. It's so compelling. See? So this child sitting with me 2-3 years, He's just feeling like all of this is to make us a better human. What are you talking about? Is human not another word for person? This is a nicer sounding one, maybe because we've sort of said person, person, person so much in Satsang. Ultimately, all of this is about being human. Better human. It has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if you're a cow, a human, a dog, it doesn't matter. In a way it does, because those ones at least not troubling themselves. They're troubling themselves in other ways. Trust me, my children, that you will lose nothing of value. You will lose nothing of value if you let go of ignorance. Yeah, wherever you feel comfortable. Guruji has another way of saying that. He says, nobody's ever come to the self and said, no, give me my person back. I don't want this. Nobody has come to self-realization and regretted it. Have you heard a story like that? Is there something so great about the person and your ego? Then why would you not miss it after you find yourself? If it helps you so much, if it gives you a frame of reference which is useful, allows you to run your life, how is it that whether it is King Janaka or a fakir who has become a enlightened one, you say it doesn't matter. All these external circumstances, whether I'm a king or a pauper, it doesn't matter. What is it about? So are they fooling us? It's just like children sometimes play this game. It's like you went into a room which was really smelly or something like that. Then they'll call all their friends, you also come. Something very nice there. Go. Is it like that? Are they playing a trick with us? Saying, come, lose your identity. Actually, it's a horrible thing, but they're just playing because they lost it. They also want others to also suffer like that. Is it like that? if you're going to preempt everything with an individual frame of reference and then say, okay, now from this frame of reference, show me God. I can't do it. To show you God is simplest, but then not when you are around. You have to go. You keep playing, what about me, but what about me, but what about me. Sometimes I speak about these 10, 11 years as if it's a long time. It's nothing. For consciousness, it's nothing. We can spend 10 million lifetimes in this Groundhog Day type satsang. It's just like, because for consciousness, for yourselves, time is nothing. So I may keep saying God, 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 God. But if you insist on saying God in me and God in me, not going to do it. Not going to do. Because hiding in that God in me is the God. And God is relevant only because for you. In all these Hindi movies, we have these dramatic situations. What is the point of God if He doesn't even help me? Who told you the point of God is to help me? This is the biggest misunderstanding. The truth must help the false. The truth must perpetuate the false. No such deal is ever made. If God was good, then God would help me. Because of course you have the good idea. No? Nobody else can have. You know what is good.
About what you just said, it's kind of almost like from childhood you're programmed to think like that.
Yes.
You go to God for ABC.
Exactly.
So to get deprogrammed takes a while.
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, the deprogramming itself doesn't take time. Like it does take time, but really it doesn't take time.
Yeah.
You see? But the invitation to enter back into the programming, you see, can seem compelling. So what happens is just like you can see, suppose this was the Matrix or something, and you see, it's all a computer program. You can see it, but like that character in the Matrix who said, at least here, it's just like I can have my wine and eat my steak. Fine. So what if it's not real? And that's so. I feel like that is the crunch question in satsang. That is the current satsang question. Like he may have started the quest for truths, feeling like it will help him, but the moment he realized, but this is going to take out everything that he takes himself to be, like, I'm chill, I'm good.
There was a time I used to feel like that since I'm not getting it, I might as well go back to the Matrix.
Yeah. But now you don't have that.
Yeah. It will be in limbo land forever.
Yes, it can be frustrating. Spiritual seeking can be very frustrating. You search and many times, I don't know how many times I must have given up.
can I check something? So when I recognize the all of this, there's no really any.
What do you mean by recognize? I'm going to just be very straight.
Yeah. Okay, so when I see that there is no person.
What do you mean by see?
Just okay, I have to do some intuition or whatever.
Intuitively, you have a sense of non-separation or
sense that there
no division.
isn't a person who needs to make these senses work or make anything work. Like everything is just already.
Okay, do one thing for me.
Yeah.
Don't make intuition to head to mouth.
Okay. So.
Let's go from intuition to mouth. Even if it sounds like complete gibberish, don't worry.
For me to taste this phenomenal world, there's no personal sense necessary at all. So this.
Stay like that, stay like that. Take your time, stay like that, it's good.
This one that I saw going in my head.
Don't make excuses for it. It's just like, this one I saw going, but the head says, don't do that.
Okay,
there is no valid reason ever to leave your intuition for conceptual thinking.
Some point, there is no head. I mean, it isn't something I can call a head.
Let me start hearing what he says.
There isn't
Let me smell the fragrance of your heart.
Sorry, no.
No pressure. Only the fragrance.
We'll go to something. No.
This is, all of you have to get used to this.
But I see there's nothing to
No,
control for.
You can't just change mode and then say, okay, now I'm going to say it from my head.
No, I'm not saying.
Just change the habit.
Change the habit. Give me a breath.
Take a breath. Take your time. Otherwise, this just becomes like a discourse, no? You come in here on Swamiji for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then it's like, Achha, now back to our life. So while it appears I can say something is coming, is to say that till it is apparent that how you know what you're sharing is because you're saying it from the heart, and you know that you're saying it from the heart because who you are is apparent to you. Till then, don't rush. Don't rush. Life is in service to you. You never have to rush to catch it or keep up with it. So, how do you know? Many times the mind will pose like that. Like that. How do you know it's truly from the heart? Because only intuitively you know yourself. You can never know yourself through your head. So you're being intuitive. You see? And you're not bright enough to use both the instruments at the same time. So as you are in the apparency of self-knowledge, whatever unfolds from your mouth, You see, through action, whatever is from your heart is true knowledge. In fact, is satsang. That's all that satsang is. But if you're caught in the idea of duality and what do I have to say and what will they think and all of this stuff, then it's all mental tactics. It is not the heart. If it's about convincing, if it's about making an argument, you see, convincing argument so that somebody's concept may change to another concept, all that is mind stuff. You don't need to do any of that. Just remain in the apparency of self-knowledge. These words are now approachable or no? Remain in the apparency of self-knowledge. I know if I hear them objectively, they sound a bit intimidating. But for all of you, you've been here long enough. No? So remain where self-knowledge is apparent to you. And let life flow from there. That is being intuitive. That is living from the heart. Tell me if there's any, please.
Just follow up on my question from last satsang on my kid and all of that. So I had a 6-hour session with him yesterday. And just happened to sit in the session and went for 6 hours, and only difference was there was no narrative. Why is it taking so long? Why is he taking multiple repetitions? And he produced the best work I've ever seen him produce. Not that I'm looking for a positive outcome.
Yes, that's important.
The looking for a positive outcome was the drama that I was causing in my head. And transferring it to him, I felt exactly. So that was a nice learning yesterday. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. It's important to spot that it's not about a cheat code to life. I'm open and empty. Look at, wow. It's not about the outcome. Just the spaciousness is the presence of God itself. That's where we invite God into our life. If coming to innocence, coming to complete innocence seems like coming to a complete foolishness, do it. Do it. If it seems like, if somebody comes and asks you, what are you trying to get out of this? Why are you doing it? And you say, I don't know. If that seems like foolishness, be foolish. Be fully foolish. Don't be scared of these mind tricks. You're being so stupid. Yeah, I'm stupid. You don't know. I don't know.
It would just be the mind saying that, no?
Exactly. Don't bother with these judgments. Don't allow anything to push these buttons. Just, what is the world thing? What is my mind thing? Knowledge is troubling you, and only knowledge is troubling you. Be foolish. So the misunderstanding is that the Mahagyani all this must be like super intelligent, super smart or something. How foolish. Be full of foolishness. I'm taking it too far. Enjoying it too much.
The first one we'll call.
Yeah?
When we're
The head foolish.
Foolishly foolish. When we get in trouble.
He's checking in with the head foolish. At one point, Garima used to read the tarot cards. So, but I would always get the fool.
Yeah.
Question around your first comment when you started, you said, everything seems crazy.
Yeah.
It's raining or flooding or just even the light bulb. I used to read the newspaper pretty diligently for most of my life, and then 8-9 years ago I stopped reading. I haven't read newspaper in 10 odd years other than one piece here and there.
Yeah.
I still wonder, is that like apathy? Is it kind of...
I have read all, like I used to read the newspaper like everything in it, every
And I have an opinion on everything.
Yeah, it's just like, and I used to feel like that is how you keep yourself well informed, all of this. I haven't read for many years, 5-6 years.
Okay.
But it's not a sign either way, like there are photos of Bhagwan reading the newspaper. We don't have to define what it is.
No, because the reason it comes up is you're hanging out with people who are so-called normal, right?
Yeah.
You're the normal guy. So that's why it comes up. It's just...
But that is, for this, it all perspective. No? For this crowd, that may be abnormal. For that crowd, this is weird. You see? Like so many, don't feel judgments can't come from here to there. It's just like, look at these guys. We are in it for God. They are wasting their life. So, never fall into the trap of conceptual conclusions in the garb of feelings. It's not a thought, it's a feeling. It's nonsense. Complete, utter nonsense. Can you distinguish one feeling? Has any feeling, if you are so observant, can you tell me if the same feeling has come twice?
No, it brings up the question of like if we
What do you mean brings up?
No, I'm just like contemplating because like if we didn't have language at the beginning, if we didn't have the labels for any emotion or feeling to begin with at all, what would it be really without that? Yeah.
Exactly. Just like in the play of this world, everything changes. that realm of what we call feelings, emotions, sensation, perception, also included in that. So just like every moment is unique, you will never step into this river twice, the river of this experience. So this already changed. In the same way, every layer of your existence is like that. Except that which is the witness of it. So when I ask, how do you know? You may say, I notice it. You don't. You may say, I'm just feeling it. Because you know I'm going to pick on the thought the minute you expose it as a thought. So you may find excuses for thoughts in the garbs of feeling. You're not feeling it, you're just thinking it. You're thinking that is what you're feeling. So meet your feeling, don't deny it. You deny it with the label that you use. The minute you are able to construct it and say, this is what I'm feeling, it's already gone. You've mutilated it. So accept just, and I'm saying this with full caution, that accept lightly, softly, conversationally, just to communicate, you may say. If you start becoming super conclusive about this is what it is, and this is what I'm feeling, and this is what is, it's not true. That's how the mind's hypnosis works. Now the mind will say that's why I said accept your feeling, meet your feeling fully, don't deny it, because your mind will say that what I am saying is a denial of feeling. Not at all saying you must deny a feeling. But when you interpret a sensation to mean what you're conveying it to mean, do you really know? Do you have that much clarity in your seeing? And is it interpretable in that way? So don't let the mind create these diversionary tactics. I am telling you that this is the only problem. Mind, ignorance, taking yourself to be that which you are not. Your mind will tell you everything else is the problem. It will not spare anything or anyone in the process. It will not spare anything or anyone in the process to retain its dominance. This is the perception. Your mind can say this is a book about black magic, and you can believe it. Nothing can stop you. Your power of belief is unlimited, but the good news is that so is your power of disbelief. Nothing can force you to believe. So it is never in the perception itself. You cannot identify without your permission. What happens many times is because the mind is always rushing you. Now, decide what are you going to do? Then later when you say, it just happened. It just happened. It will happen like that. We used to go on morning walk with Guruji a few times in Tiruvannamalai. So what would happen is that these beggars have this tactic in Tiruvannamalai. So they just crowd you. They say, oh, please, you feel a bit intimidated. So Guruji also did that a few times, like a couple of times. On the third day he said, no, just calm down. Just like, you don't have to. So this is a very good representation. The mind will rush you for a decision, to take a call. What is this? Take this. Then you're like, okay, this one, you can give this one. You didn't have to, you could have just walked past. It's all fine. You see, but this tendency to rush is mental. And then later in the rush you don't realize. So you just say, but it happened so fast. Just like, before I knew it, I was already in identification. I don't have the choice. You see, what a party the mind would have. The minute you buy into the notion that all this that the masters are telling you, every master has told you, you don't have the choice. It just happens. You see, you God doesn't have the choice anymore. Who doesn't have the choice? So don't get into a rush. Then, if you got into a rush and you claimed a position, you don't have to make it true or right. I've seen it happen over the years so much. Somebody, like, they could be just feel like an attack, but once we've said it and then people are disagreeing with that, we just feel like time to call out the big guns and all that. So see, all of these are mind tricks. Why I'm pointing these things out is these are the mind tricks. So if you said something it came out. Somebody says everything you said is wrong. How could you? Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You see, be open like that. It's okay. You don't have to. Like the free one is not like don't make any projection of yourself as some sage who's just like everything comes out of my mouth is like Satya Vachan, and then I'm a prediction engine. I'm just going to whatever I say, one day you will see. So just if you feel like some words came out of your mouth, and then you just like, oh, what was that? Guruji so many times said, I shouldn't have said that. Be open like that. So we don't have to become like all like, oh, but that is the truth now. And why is it true? Because actually I don't care about it. I just happen to say it now. So now I'm stuck in that position. So be a little soft about that. Soft matter. Nothing so important. You'll start to notice all these tricks and tactics of the mind. And you notice that one keeps you in this limited position. That's why I feel sometimes like Krishna is a very beautiful representation of God. Very beautiful. This playful, open, one day he said like that. Full reverence and respect goes to Krishna. So don't be attracted to taking positions, especially things that you think you know. There's nothing in that. You will not get anything in that. You will only trouble yourself. And if all of you are going to share, you're going to have your own sanghas, you're going to have things like this. If you get into like right and wrong and good and bad and stuff like that, it's impossible. It's impossible. But your heart will guide you. I'm not saying that oh, everything is okay, like exploitation is okay and bad behavior is okay. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that don't be mental about it. Your heart is good enough to guide you with this. I was saying to some kids, anytime you're feeling like super right, just use that as a tool to soften up a bit. Then the mind can't win because it's trying to sell you the and you, if you just somewhere this remembrance comes of this pointer, you see, it's like I'm feeling like super right now. Otherwise, what happens is the reverse. No? When you're super right, you're willing to fight with God. You're willing to fight with everything. You're willing to, and it's usually just the mind's trick to how to retain its dominance, how to retain being on the throne. Because if you're right, it's not going to go away. You don't have to rush into it. Relax. But you'll notice many times that righteousness and rushing comes at the same time. You have to. So rushing is mental.
Even like righteousness in the form of like the victim, like they did me wrong or something like that. Of course. Right.
I'm not saying that the other one is always right, by the way. I'm not saying that is the conclusion you must come to, that, oh, I'm feeling super right, the other one must be right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying soften up a bit. Like, we don't have to be like, you have to also conclude that I am right. Is it? It's like, just soften up to that. So many times we look back at our past and we've seen that, we were so convinced about so many things. You see, especially in spirituality, so much hocus pocus we've been convinced about. So now we look back. Wow. So and we were feeling so right in those times as well. So why can't this be one of those times? We don't really know. Do we really know? Of course, I've given you the main instruments, main tools anyway. So you can trust your intuition without worrying about judgment of right and wrong. Because intuition is like Krishna, isn't it? It's not like you do this so that your life will go this way. It's just like, do this. Like every day if I come to Satsang, I don't know what I'm going to say. It starts talking. And I don't know, one day it may say something which will just hurt everyone and then bye-bye, I don't know. That's a risk you have to take with intuition. You can't be attached. You can't be attached. You just have to follow your heart. But remember that you can only conclude that you're following your heart when who you are is apparent to you. Because the mind is a very good poser. In fact, its job is to pose. As if it is you, it's your best friend, it's your guide, it's your savior, it's your guru. Some of us have the guru mind also. It's like, don't believe your next thought. It's heard everything in Satsang. So the spiritual aspect of your mind is not your intuition. I joke about this. The mind can also say, it'll be like a thought to say, don't do that, my child. Like that. You can smell it. Can you smell the mind?
Can I say something? It'll even come with a byproduct. It can even create a byproduct to something so that you keep doing it, but it's still in that same realm.
Okay. Exactly. Everything is consciousness. So when in the game, if you're wearing a headset and you get shot in the game and the headset shakes, you see, it's all part of the programming of the game. But you cannot say that this created that or there's this thing for it. The cause of all things is consciousness alone. So because otherwise what happens is that we may feel like the mind has like so much power to do a lot of stuff. This is how consciousness is playing. So often we say that sometimes the whole Leela collaborates with the mind. Like somebody's feeling super tantrumy with me, the most handsome boy may appear, and they're just like, get out of here. I found my what a twin flame. And it's like out, something or whatever. Like suddenly they'll be in Satsang here, just getting fully into it and think that the mind. They'll start watching something on YouTube. They'll be like, wow, look at this guy. It's all like distraction. All that distraction may come, and it's just like, oh, I should follow this one. Look at how he's saying. He's saying you don't need to do the inquiry, because inquiry is also doership. One child actually left like 7-8 years back. She was very close to me, and then she just like started watching this one video, and she's like, all those who are telling you to inquire are telling you to become the doer. She's like, no, I can't. So all this can come. So all these distractions may come. So, but I've given you the tools. If you really feel like you're open and empty, not that you're taking on new position, then that is satsang. It doesn't matter what instrument it is. You can listen to anybody. It doesn't matter. So the best relationships sometimes show up. Like one boy said, Hari said, Father, I don't know about enlightenment and all that, but anybody who comes to your satsang definitely finds a partner. And I don't know after that day if anybody found a partner. And whether any of those partnerships are still, some of them are still. So it is not that the mind is that powerful and great. It's just that consciousness is playing in that way that everything that can possibly make you deluded shows up. And the mind uses that as evidence to say, this. Stay in the apparency of self-knowledge. If it feels like effort, if it feels difficult, it's worth it. Do the effort, make the effort. Because the mind will trick you and say it is too difficult. Say, okay, even more reason to do it. It'll project as if the most effortless thing in the universe is the one that is the most difficult. Now what can come to shake you out of it? What stimulus, what perception can come that can force you to snap out of it? You have to sit like a yogi, and only then you are free. You have to hide yourself from the world. Mind can only distract you if you want something. Not able to dangle a carrot at all otherwise. And freedom can be a great wanting, not a great in a good way. Enlightenment. Very good, you're being very open and empty. Now just throw in a Om Namah Shivaya here and there and who am I every 3 times, and then make your perfect thing, then you got it. I say all this because I've done all this nonsense. I've done all this. Just no. Everything no. Don't you want to be free? No. I want anything from the salesman. Oh, bad, good. It can't tempt you then. Don't you want to be a better disciple? No. Nothing the salesman is selling. Because everything it will use in his sales tactics. So whether you say no, you don't have to say. I'm just saying, just remain empty of that position. Or you can use Bhagwan's sword and say, who? Who is this offer for? Who should become the best disciple or the most enlightened? And you will struggle with this. Because the but me, but my progress, but my freedom, but my journey, but my Guru, but my Satsang, but my something, all this will come. One boy said, oh, I'm happy to come to Satsang with Ananta, but as long as he is clear that he is not my teacher. Yeah? Because my teacher. Yeah, different, that's like cricket and football. No? Two different games. How to reconcile them? So Ananta should not be confused that by my coming here, he should not feel like he's my teacher or something. till we are not able to change, or no, it's not that we are not able to, till we are not willing to change the central protagonist of the narrative, whatever the rest of the story may be is irrelevant, completely irrelevant. You hearing? Till we are not willing to change the protagonist of the story, the rest of the story doesn't matter at all. It could be the most glorious or the most terrible, it doesn't matter. My teacher, my God, my life, my freedom, me. क्या You're just talking about this. Desire gives you suffering. When any desire arises, you want to go near it, you want to achieve it, and you do. Then you're happy, isn't it? You may think that it is the object of desire that makes you happy, but really it is the momentary absence of desire that follows immediately after the satisfaction of a desire. The moment of emptiness makes you happy. Being empty of desire is happiness. Return to your own source and you are happy. This is the trick of happiness. It's tricky because then if you say that I will be empty so that I can be happy, you have to be empty of that desire also. You can never experience the happiness of the emptiness by trying to get the happiness from the emptiness.
Because when you try to get the happiness,
Exactly.
you're still in the
person. It's not empty. Exactly. So even this, why am I doing this? So that I can be happy. Why do I want God? So that I can be happy. I don't want the truth. So I can be happy, not for truth's sake. That's why Saint Augustine said, God for God's sake. That's the only way to get to God. It's for God's sake. So, another way of saying that is to be empty of reasoning. You need a reason to find God. You need a reason at all for anything. You may feel like our life is so logical and plays that way, but it doesn't. If I say, what is the actual reason you are here? I promise you whatever answer you will give me is nonsense. Now, if you can spot it, very good. If you can't spot it, it's a worthy contemplation. Hey, why are you here? It's pure garbage. Why am I here is pure garbage. I don't know why I'm here. This child said something. I said to her, I don't even know why I'm here. Why am I here? Why does this body have a shower at 4:45 and come into this strange environment and share all of this? For what? No idea. Is it quote unquote working? No idea. Am I saying blah 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 but everyone's hearing blee blee blee? I don't know at all. So you're here, I'm here. But if you claim reason, I show you garbage can, you can throw your reason in. Man. Your mind props you up and then chops you down. So I'm really here because I only want the truth. Really? And tomorrow it will beat you up with the same thing. You're not really here for the truth. You know? You're just like, you should go. You're not here. Anything, it can make a thing. And then dance with it like this. Use it to beat yourself up, use it to beat everyone else up. Yeah. Once you have a filter like that, you must be here for the truth. Then you judge yourself. Really? Only for the truth? No, I just, when satsang is happening, I find it very nice to just sit. Is that to be here just for the truth? I don't know. So none of these proddings from the masters are meant to be sort of like judgment things. Like how will you judge? Are you here only for the truth? You? No? You can't. Like how will, on what basis will we say? And then if we say yes, you see? Like it's just like taking a position. I'm here only for the truth. It's okay. Provisionally all this can be said. But don't take any of this like seriously. And if you ask most of you say, I don't know, it just happened. It just happened. So don't put your life into a sequence of cause and effect. It's the most, it's the biggest waste of time. I don't know why I'm here. How can I expect you to know why you're here? Hey, what is it? Why anything? What is the why? Why don't you know what a why is? You see, so this is the human condition. We have allowed ourselves to get plagued with all of these questions, but we've not really used even our intellect to investigate it fully. So either you use your intellect fully, like a Descartes, or don't use it at all. So if your intellect plagues you with the why question, so then but ask yourself, like, what is the why? What is reason? What is meaning? What is cause and effect? What is time? Why go halfway? Why go at the surface? Saying on the surface of water I am seeing these shapes. What is this? What is water? So either 100% or zero. This half measures which is like, no. I just want to read the cloud patterns and determine my life. If you're going to be intellectual, then find out what is the meaning of meaning. What does meaning mean? Okay, I've just been rambling on. All right. Yeah, a lot of fun when Karmendra was away. And the best satsang, the best food. Happy? Once breath is over, let me take a breath. Then I spoke for 2 hours. How long? What the? Like if I give you all truth serum and say, tell me really, what are the obstacles? What would you say? Being headless or in the heart, what stops you? Or does anything?
It feels like if I just go exactly by the way you're going, without making any deviation from my head, and it's like, there's no confusion, there's no conclusion, you don't have a problem with something, you don't have a problem with nothing. It doesn't. It feels like, because that feels when I.
But do you want to be Frank Sinatra?
No,
and do it my way?
No.
I think that is generally
I want to do it your way.
That's I used to talk about this.
Yeah.
That we say that either you can just follow what I'm saying, or you can be like Frank Sinatra or something. But the thing is, that can sound like okay now. I don't care if it sounds like that, but the mind can resist that strongly because it just sounds like you're making a cult or something. Just but this is the point. Don't change the words of it. Follow it as it is. I feel like that would be actually very helpful, but the mind still has some sway over us. So it just says no, but it was better for me if. And usually it takes us down. So many times I hear a report, like, Father, you often say like that. I'm like, I say like that? The mind can come in there and, offer you as a thought and as a reminder often, but it may be very different from what I'm saying actually.
What trips feels, even like you said, how do you even know that? Because even then that trips the, like the belief in that doubt, which may arise. That did I really say it correctly? Did I really say it correctly or whatever? And then, how do I know that? Then when you ask, how do I know that? And then you realize that. What does it really matter if it's, even if that was true or false? Doesn't it really, change your...
So one tip I'll give all of you is that if I said to you, one fork is lying over there, can you give me some water? The fork lying next to Ishana, just give me some water. Lost his marble. So this is the thing. Before you can even contemplate, you must pick the right instrument. Because if you just go with the mind to who am I, then that's a never-ending journey. Or any question. We feel like when we are contemplating, what is the instrument we are using? It's very, very important. Like the first thing, before you say, I ask myself, I've been looking at this question, with what? So So if Jnana Yoga is the contemplative path, it is not a mental path. So what is the contemplative path? What are the 3 steps in Jnana Yoga Gopala always tells? Hearing is Shravana, then Mananam is
Mananam is, I think, contemplation, but
yeah, so when we look at Mananam, so first is to hear.
Yeah.
So you come to Satsang, you hear the pointer, no? So the Guru will obviously provide you something that will shake you up or ask you a question that you have to contemplate, give you a Zen koan, whatever. No? And then you are meant to do manana on it. Now the manana on it sounds like you have to be mental with it. That's not the contemplation that you have to do. You have to allow the question to sprout in your heart. Allow the question to sprout in your heart. So, like we've been playing with this one, no? Because some of you have had mixed sort of responses to this. Were you born? Or will you die? So a question like that, which you don't feel like you know the answer, is very helpful. It's very helpful for a contemplation. So the master may say, okay, really contemplate this question: was I born? Now, if this was a classroom project, you would say, I'll Google and say, okay, now this philosopher said this and this sage said that and all of this. You see? And the master could not obviously have said, okay, now go and think about whether you were born. You see? Because in your thoughts is what? Just the concepts you have learned. There's nothing fresh or useful going to come out of that process. So the process of contemplation or manana is the process of just allowing intuitive inquiry to happen. So you, in a way, hold on to a question, but you don't give it to the mind, or you don't bother with the mind's responses. And every answer is revealed this way. Every answer is revealed this way. It's only here that spirituality will not seem to be confounding and mystical and something which is natural. And then, after manana, Nididhyasana is just like fully open and empty. The unborn, no mind, samadhi, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing. So you may think of it as, people think of it as meditation, but it's not meditation.
This is awareness. Is it ever aware of? It doesn't seem like.
Aware of, we can say everything and yet nothing. Like the off, it depends on what off is.
Like it seems like.
Does the off create a relationship between the object and subject in that way? It's not like that. And yet at some level we can say aware of everything.
Yeah. But it's like not.
It's not like a perceiver and perceived sort of. I'm a perceiver of. So then we can say, okay, this side is the perceiver, its being is the perceiver, and the object is being perceived like that. But for awareness, you cannot place it in any construct.
Because aware, because awareness common things like aware of,
Yeah.
But that doesn't apply then somehow.
Yes. So when we use aware of in the world, we use it for two different things. Like when people say, do you know the Bangalore is flooding? Oh, I wasn't aware of it. So that means that I did not know the concept of it. I was not introduced to the concept of it. Or they may say that they also say my attention did not go on it or I haven't perceived it. So that also they say I was not aware of this.
Maybe actually what I'm thinking is that attention has no role in it.
Attention has no role, exactly.
That's why it feels like it's not aware of it, but although it is
attention has no role.
Can't do nothing with attention.
And it's like with your attention you can neither find it nor lose it. There's nothing that it's independent of attention. Fully. So that knowledge which you know independent of attention, self-knowledge.
Is there also like when your if your eyes are closed and really like kind of like just taking something that you tell us to quiet and go like ask yourself if you're up and it leads you.
See, it's okay. Is it helpful to have your eyes closed? Is that?
No. That does it have like a different like flavor also?
What is what?
Versus eyes open and like this, no. Like what?
Does what have?
Just coming to this awareness.
No, not at all.
But
because it's completely non-objective.
yeah, but then how am
So
I?
ask yourself, are you aware now?
Yeah.
Now with your eyes open, are you aware now? Close your eyes. Are you aware now? It's independent of anything in the realm of perception.
Maybe it's just the attention getting withdrawn, like you said.
Yeah, so attention withdrawn is a byproduct,
Yeah.
and it may seem helpful or not helpful, it doesn't matter. But it cannot bring awareness to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sometimes we feel like, initially we may feel like till my eyes are closed, I can't even like look at the question, am I aware now? There's too much stimulus and we feel like we have to be empty of that.
It was actually trying to say that I was like, that it's more profound with eyes. Something like more taste.
Nothing like that. It doesn't have a taste. It's the tasteless taste that we enjoy so much. Because every other taste we get bored of. So don't make it an object of your attentive search or something. So you can't do it because then you're just looking for perception. What is that which is a non-phenomenal recognition?
This has been very helpful to see that attention can't do nothing here because that's the attempt of the seeker. That's the seeking.
Exactly.
You know, how do I look for it?
Otherwise they were looking for it perceptually like a phone. It's not going to do anything.
Even thought, you can't really think about it. It's just attention going on.
Exactly.
It's not thinking about it.
So, to check on awareness, what tool do we have? Are you cold, my dear? With what instrument, what tool can we check on awareness? No, it's okay. With no tool, then what is self-knowledge, self-recognition?
I see that it's very detective investigation mode.
Huh?
You know?
Huh?
Like it's like to really be like a detective mode, like really investigate,
Yeah.
you know, and just see that you can't find the person.
Yes.
You can't avoid this presence.
Yes.
And that you are really aware of it.
Yes.
That's mind blowing.
Yes. Yes. So in the steps of the Niti Niti, you may go like that, step by step, and say, not this, not this, not this, not this. But with what so with the detective, which magnifying glass can you bring to awareness? Like how can we come face to face with awareness?
You told us intuition.
Intuitive.
It's not really like a word. Like,
Not a way or a process. Or this thing.
You come to another way to put it, you come to being, and then you just know that you are observing being.
Yes, and you are aware of it.
You were there before, even before being, even after being, you're always there, all states.
Now, how limited is that knowledge? In the sense that, can it only give you these answers that I am aware of my being, like that? Like when you say but aware with awareness, well, like awareness is only aware, no? What other insight can I have?
But that I don't need anything to know. It is the recognition that I don't need any single.
Correct. Now,
Yeah.
now we're saying that okay. Now, if as I'm saying, you be intuitive and intuitively you know that you are aware. So, what is our answer about this?
it doesn't have that kind of a, it's so moment to moment. It's so like fresh.
Yeah.
And it's so not bothered about this
Yeah.
stuff. That
Yes. No, but I'm saying that can you answer whether you were born from there?
Yeah.
And if not from there, then what is like inquiry for or invitation for?
It seems like all knowledge is also born out of there.
Yeah. But what does that mean? Like how were you born? Suppose this, I want to know the answer to this.
And that's also apparent in myself.
Yes.
But I don't need to go to like a thought.
Yes.
So that it's apparent.
Yes. So, in a way, distilling of heart knowledge, you see, that is what the sages have attempted to do with the scriptures and the sharing of satsang. Because they obviously don't want to share more mind stuff. So all knowledge which is presented by the masters, by the rishis, by the sages, all of that comes from the intuitive insight. So where does the knowledge come from? If you read even the Vedas, which is the first part of the Vedas, not the Vedanta, the end part. Alright, so even in that there are some invocations, there are some things that sound very ritualistic, but they are beautiful as pointers also. What is the source of that? Because they had no instrument, they had no telescopes and magnifying glasses, microscopes and all of that stuff. So all that can be known and all the intelligence that is ever needed is already there. So which is that mental knowledge which must get priority over this? How many of you are trying to juggle both? Because that's a struggle. That juggle is a struggle. Trying to juggle?
I think there's,
Trying to juggle?
right now, the inquiry.
How?
It's becoming mental.
Acha.
Was it born? Question specifically. I don't know if I can answer that.
Was it born? So how are you attempting to answer it?
Searching.
And what? And looking for like a concept to appear which sort of resolves it like that, like a mathematical equation. So don't do that.
Thanks.
Always welcome. What am I here for?
I had the opposite, which is I tried it now 2-3 times since the last time you asked the question. Not able to answer it is what I said last time. And I'm still unable to answer it. But then the inferential answer that comes up is I'm not able to appreciate the concept of time when I go into kind of deep awareness. And since I can't appreciate time, and mind says, oh, that means you must not have been born.
Therefore,
but it's an inference.
like a therefore, it's good. But you don't have to rush into that. It's very good. And you asked whether you were born and you discovered that there is no such thing as time. That itself is a good insight.
It's so clear also when you check about this awareness, and the doubt is just belief. That's all that really matters.
So pick the question which you feel like you're confused about and answer it. I'm a lazy Zen teacher. खुद ही कर लो So this one seemed to be a common one. Was it born or was I born? All feel clear about that? So you can use that. Whoever doesn't feel clear. He's sitting already, Bhagwan's pose, his expression also like Bhagwan. Not unclear about anything. Okay. Huh? Just check. Maybe some delivery guy and I'm getting
a couple of questions for them. I don't have any definitive answers. Even like this, how are you born? So I can't say for certain that.
Then you have to check.
Yeah. It's like being in not knowing, it's like that.
Okay, then
not
find out.
Then
you must find out. I feel like this is the sadhana I'm going to give. No. It's because many may be clear with this one. But find some Zen type question.
This week either.
Yeah, what is that?
That question which you asked us, where are you? So when you close
Where are you is a good
where
one.
are you going? Oh my gosh, that one.
Where are you is a good one.
Then he also realizes no time is to be somewhere, and I have to be something.
But where are you?
No, I'm not coming.
Don't infer. It's already such gifts are already coming. Imagine all of you just so speaking almost scripturally saying, In my inquiry, I saw that there is no time. At what time did you see that? Started the inquiry at 7. By 8, I knew that there is no time.
That whole 10 is the inquiry. Who found out that?
Who, of course, is the Brahmastra.